Today I'm making oven-baked wings, and to start I'm going to make a seasoned dredge. I'm adding a half cup of cornstarch to a bowl. You could also add all-purpose flour. To that I'll be adding 1.5 teaspoons to 2 teaspoons of salt. If using a fine salt, start with a teaspoon. I'm adding 1 tablespoon of salt-free lemon pepper. I'm also adding 1 teaspoon of paprika, a half teaspoon of black pepper, a half teaspoon of celery salt, 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1.5 teaspoons of onion powder, and I'm going to give that a good mix, and that's done. Today I'm working with 32 pieces of wing sections with the drummettes and the flat. This is probably around 3.5 pounds, 3 to 3.5 pounds of wings, and I'm just going to coat them in the seasoned dredge. And once they're coated, I'm going to place them on a very large baking sheet. If you do this recipe, you might need 2 baking sheets. This is a really large one. And I'm going to let them set for about 10 to 15 minutes. And after they've set, I'm going to bake them in a preheated oven of 415 degrees Fahrenheit for about 50 to 55 minutes. I'm also going to be making a ranch dressing to go with this. So here I have 1 cup of sour cream, a half cup of mayonnaise. To that I'm going to add a half teaspoon to a full teaspoon of onion powder, probably more like a teaspoon. I'm also going to be adding a teaspoon of dried parsley, a teaspoon of garlic powder or granulated garlic, a teaspoon of dried dill, and a full tablespoon of chives. All these ingredients are to your taste and preference. If you want to adjust the ratios, feel free to do that. It's really up to you. And you can definitely use fresh chives, fresh chopped parsley, and fresh dill for this. It all works. So now that I have my dried herbs and seasonings, I'm going to add salt and pepper to taste. And I'm also going to add 1 tablespoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice to this. Give it a mix. And now I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of milk. You could also add a 1/4 cup of water, a 1/4 cup of buttermilk if you like that flavor, but this is just to thin it out a bit and to make it a dressing. And that's it. I'm going to store in the refrigerator, and you can definitely make this the day before. For my buffalo wing sauce, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of butter into a pan over a low heat. I'm going to add 1 clove of fresh garlic that I'm just going to crush into the melting butter and let that melt down and gently simmer. And then I'm going to add a tablespoon of honey. I'll say this is optional, but I think the honey adds more body to the sauce and it balances out the heat and tanginess of the sauce. Now I'm going to add a half cup of hot sauce. You could use the hot sauce of your choice, and just give that a good mix. And I'm going to let that gently simmer for about 3 to 5 minutes, and it's done. So at this point, my wings are crispy and cooked through. So now it's time to dress them. And listen to that, they have a very crispy exterior. So for the other half of the wings, I am going to dress them in a barbecue sauce. Here I took a half cup of barbecue sauce, 1 tablespoon of fresh squeezed lemon juice, and 2 tablespoons of butter, and just simmered it. And that's it. It's as easy as that. So now I'm going to coat and dress my wings. Once my wings are coated, I'm going to shake on a little more of that salt-free lemon pepper, and that's it. And I want to show you, these are really hot. You could probably pull out the bones from this, but just a little press and you can see how tender and fall off the bone these wings turn out, and it's so good. And I wanted to show you, here are the barbecue coated wings, which my son loves, and dinner is ready. It's very simple. With a side of celery sticks and carrots, the homemade ranch dressing, it's so good. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching!